Winter advances over the taiga and turns the territory into the dominant force. Deep snow reshapes routes and increases the cost of every movement. Predators expand their paths, prey reduce movement. Beneath the white surface, small lives find invisible thermal shelter. And if this documentary holds your attention, it's worth leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. As the snow deepens, finding food requires more movement and more energy. The pack tests the endurance of a group of deer, but avoids direct confrontation. Above, ravens track every movement. They have learned that, in the taiga, following predators can mean opportunity, and when the hunt fails, the cost is immediate. With less food available, distances increase. Territories that once rarely overlapped now begin to touch. The tiger patrols wider areas. The pack explores new corridors in the forest. When predators share the same space, confrontation isn't always direct, but the tension is constant. And in the taiga, avoiding conflict is also a survival strategy. Deep snow changes the mechanics of movement. For large prey, every step requires more muscular effort and greater energy consumption. Moose adapted to the cold still face growing resistance. Meanwhile, predators watch for patterns of fatigue before acting. In Siberia, surviving winter doesn't depend only on strength, but on efficiency. As the cold stabilizes at severe levels, improvisation is no longer an option. The pack tests new routes near the frozen river, where the snow is more compact. The tiger avoids direct confrontation and adjusts its movement toward denser areas. Even the bear, still active, begins to reduce its movements. In the taiga, fast adaptation means staying alive. Ecological pressure begins to become visible. The pack tests the endurance of a deer, but avoids a confrontation that could cost more energy than it provides. The tiger miscalculates the distance and abandons the approach. In the taiga, mistakes mean spending precious reserves. And if you enjoy this kind of wild journey, subscribe to keep exploring these extreme territories. With less food available, movements become longer and riskier. The boar must dig through increasingly compact ground. The hare relies almost entirely on camouflage to avoid pursuit. Even wolves rotate leadership to conserve energy. In intense cold, physical endurance and strategy go hand in hand. As reserves decline, some behaviors begin to change. The deer must feed longer in open areas. The tiger observes patterns and reduces unnecessary movement. The eagle takes advantage of stretches where the wind removes surface snow. In the taiga, the greater the exposure, the higher the risk. But hunger also applies pressure. With constant cold, encounters become inevitable. The tiger closes distance to a corridor used by moose. The pack crosses fresh tracks and quickens its pace. Prey avoid open areas and seek uneven terrain as an advantage. In the taiga, shared territory means silent tension, and any mistake leaves marks. Prolonged scarcity reduces options. The pack risks crossing thin ice to shorten the path. The tiger approaches an open area at dusk, where visibility is greater, but so is food. Prey must continue feeding even under increasing risk. In the taiga, avoiding danger is no longer always possible. The cold intensifies, and safe spaces shrink. The pack crosses areas that belong to the tiger, not for confrontation, but out of necessity. The large predator responds with clear markings. Meanwhile, other species continue trying to maintain energy balance. In the taiga, competition isn't always direct, but it is always present. With natural trails increasingly limited, some corridors become vital. The frozen river offers faster movement, but exposes everyone in open view. Wolves and the tiger begin using parallel routes, separated only by distance and time. Competition is still indirect, but now any encounter would be inevitable. As reserves diminish, even conservative decisions begin to change. The deer stays exposed longer to feed. The tiger shortens distances during twilight. Wolves reduce pauses between movements. When energy drops below what is needed, risk becomes an unavoidable part of the equation. Now the routes converge. The tiger shortens the distance to frequent feeding areas. The pack accelerates upon sensing recent movement. Prey adjust direction, but the terrain no longer offers many alternatives. Competition remains indirect, yet closer than ever. In Siberia, the margin for error practically disappears. Winter reaches severe levels. Deep snow slows even the largest herbivores. The pack tests group cohesion, searching for a vulnerable individual. At a distance, the tiger observes without exposing itself. Meanwhile, small prey continue sustaining smaller predators. Each species begins defining its final strategy. pressure increases. The wolves don't attack immediately. They test endurance, direction, and group cohesion. The moose holds a defensive posture, using its size as a barrier. At a distance, the tiger continues evaluating without intervening. In Siberia, spending energy at the wrong moment can compromise entire days. After days testing limits, the pack finally presses. A faster movement attempts to force separation on uneven terrain. The moose responds by seeking denser ground, where its size offers an advantage. The tiger remains distant, waiting for the natural wear of the confrontation. In Siberia, patience is also a hunting strategy. Prolonged effort begins to take its toll. The moose slows down, not by choice, but by physical limit. The pack also slows. Pursuing in deep snow quickly drains reserves. The tiger remains patient, waiting for the moment when exhaustion does the work. In Siberia, winter decides who can continue. After days of pressure, something has to give. The moose no longer maintains the same pace. The pack notices the difference and closes the distance with more conviction. The tiger leaves the elevated position and begins to move. The observation phase ends here. Now, every movement can define the outcome. Vicky? Convergence begins. The tiger abandons waiting and starts moving directly. The wolves continue to pressure the area, compressing the prey's options. Now, it isn't just strength. It's energy calculation under increasing risk. The snowstorm shifts the balance. Visibility drops, sound disperses, and every step becomes unpredictable. The tiger accelerates at the right moment. The wolves hesitate for valuable seconds. In absolute white, strategy matters more than speed. Distance disappears. The moose can no longer maintain a constant speed. The tiger chooses its angle, avoiding frontal confrontation. Wolves reappear at the edges of the territory. Now, every decision must be precise. Poorly calculated energy means failure. The moment arrives without warning. The tiger closes the final distance and forces direct confrontation. The moose responds with weight and reach. The wolves hold position, waiting for the outcome. Here, the strongest doesn't win. The one who calculated the cost best does. The storm hides the outcome, but the balance has already changed. The effort carried a high price. Predators and prey leave this confrontation altered. This is how winter reshapes hierarchies, silently. And if this intensity holds you, leave a like and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. The confrontation alters the territory. Predators adjust routes. The pack moves away temporarily. The tiger remains in the area, but with shorter movements. After the energy peak comes the management phase. Now, survival requires efficiency. After the peak comes silence. The territory reorganizes. The tiger reduces movement. The pack recalculates routes. The surviving prey maintains strategic distance. Winter continues, indifferent to the outcome. Now begins the phase of prolonged resistance. The outcome reshapes the territory. When there is success, the scent spreads and attracts opportunists. When there is failure, exhaustion limits the predator for days. Nothing ends at the moment of impact. The effect spreads silently. The impact spreads in silence. Opportunistic birds take calculated risks. Medium predators explore gaps left by the confrontation. The pack avoids direct conflict and expands its search radius. Nothing remains concentrated. Energy circulates. After the confrontation, fatigue remains. The tiger reduces long movements. The pack increases intervals between attempts. Every step is now calculated more strictly. Winter does not reward excess. It demands consistency. The territory enters containment mode. Movements become shorter, decisions more conservative. Predators avoid unnecessary risks. Prey prioritize dense shelter. The struggle now isn't for advantage, it's for persistence. The territory finds a new balance. The tiger limits its range. The pack expands theirs. The bear remains withdrawn. Prey avoid open areas. Nothing is guaranteed. Survival is always provisional. cold stabilizes at an extreme level. There are no more bursts of energy, only conservation. Predators reduce movement. Prey remain hidden. The territory slows down. Now, endurance is enough. With constant cold, the territory takes the lead role. Movements are rare, sounds are spaced, life remains, but almost invisible. The landscape does not celebrate victories. It only tests endurance.